Hey there, lads and lasses. Welcome to the Breaking It Downs podcast. Welcome to our third NFL season. We just celebrated our 100th episode. Obviously, we had a couple too many pints when we were over in Ireland and Scotland to recall that it was actually our 100th episode. But we're back stateside now, so all is well. And let's kick off the NFL season. It actually kicks off tonight with the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. One of Greg's favorite teams over
That
there.
sounds gross. Bollocks.
And another one of Greg's favorite teams, the Eagles are hosting his beloved Dallas Cowboys. What are your thoughts on this matchup there, Greg?
I'll use the analogy that I've used before. We were just international. I'll go further east to the Middle East. This is like ISIS and Al Qaeda. I hate them both. I wish they both could lose. Mikey B and your Dallas Cowboys, absolutely wretched. But I hate the Eagles just as bad. It's terrible. But it's great that football's back, and it is an exciting opener. So even if you're home and bored, even if you're a one-eyed dog, you'd want to watch this game. It's going to be interesting.
All right. Well, again, we are back stateside, but the Friday night game, there's actually a Friday night game. They're heading international. They are heading down to Brazil for the Super Bowl losing Kansas City Chiefs. I don't get to say Kansas City Chiefs lose that much, so I will take advantage of that. They are engaging in a battle with the LA Chargers. And you see what I did there, Greg? Speaking of engagements, I think we have some additional news coming out of the Chiefs kind of off the
Jesus,
shift.
Marion.
I'm talking the engagement between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
We're going to make it quick. This should be a great game. I will add one quick tidbit about this. I hate talking about this, but it's not shocking. I actually heard Goodell talk. They may try and not shockingly have Swifty sing the national anthem or do something or perform at the Super Bowl. But anyway, let's get on to that. Should be a great game. Brazilians, we'll see a good one.
All right. Well, before we provide our picks for tonight and tomorrow, let's look into our crystal ball. And by our crystal ball, obviously, I mean Greg's crystal ball. And talk about some of the big stories coming into the season. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the Eagles. Greg, are they poised, whatever, for a repeat?
I don't think they're posed or poised either way. No, I will say this: their offense in particular, offensive line, which is the stalwart of their team. Barkley literally had a historic year. Like when you look at the numbers, what they did, it truly was a year for the ages, especially as the season went on. That being said, there was a lot of turnover on the defensive end. I think as the year goes on, that's going to be tested. And basically, there hasn't before the Chiefs had just pulled it off. They lost their chance at a three-peat. It had been 20 years since the team had repeated. It was actually speaking of disgusting, your Brady Patriots who've done it in 0304. That being said, it's a tough task. Philly does have a ton of talent. Does Barkley stay healthy? All that turnover. It's a long season. Lot to be seen.
All right. And another team that's staying on the front page headlines, I'm talking the Dallas Cowboys. They traded star pass rusher Micah Parsons to Green Bay over a contract dispute. Is this trade, Greg, in your opinion, as bad as advertised?
You know what? I want to dump on the Cowboys, and anything you heard in the media right now, it's a disaster, and it does have the potential to be because Parsons is an all-world defensive player. When you talk about where he is in his career, he could go down as a legendary pass rusher. That being said, they've been thrashed with him in the playoffs on defense. Their run defense has been terrible. They were looking at a huge contract for him. They got Kenny Clark from Green Bay, he's your run clogger. He's a big, huge beast of a human being. He will shore up the run defense. They got 2 first-round picks. I think Dallas played the long game here. I hate to say it. I actually don't fully disagree. It could blow up. But they were, in my mind, they were not a Super Bowl contender this year. They're playing for the future. And Green Bay, it's a slam dunk for Green Bay because they're in that window. They could be a championship team, and Parsons could put them over the top. So I actually think could actually work well for both teams.
And speaking of championship teams, a team that you're always high on, I'm talking Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Do you think they rebound this year and get another win, get another big W?
Well, bottom line is this: when you have Mahomes, you're always going to have a shot. I believe it's what, six straight AFC Championship games he's been in. The problems they had that got exposed in the Super Bowl offensive line.
Oh, that was a thrashing there.
Yeah, I can't believe we actually fell asleep during the Super Bowl. I would never usually do it, and it wasn't because of too many pints. We didn't even have any. It was that bad a game. The O line was destroyed by Philly. They revamped that. The receiving core. I mean, they were bringing guys off the street last year. It's a credit to Mahomes and Andy Reid. They're going to be back. They'll be a factor. I don't know if they're going to win it all again, but they're perennially in the mix, and nothing's going to change this year.
All right. And turning to another team player in particular that you're always high on, I'm talking Lamar Jackson. What are your thoughts for him and the Ravens? You know, they had that excruciating loss to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I'm assuming we're going to hear a lot from both of these squads this season.
Yeah, I don't think it's any doubt that they will be. And Baltimore, much chronicled. They Mark Andrews, star tight end, he had a huge drop. They had a huge comeback that fell short. I remember we were watching on a plane, and I was desperate.
Both teams, it was so hard.
Great game. Allen squeaked the MVP over Lamar Jackson. They've won the last two. Point being, yes, they both are. There's no doubt about it. Both teams should be strong as heck and in the mix with KC.
All right. Any other AFC contenders that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I know you're a fan of Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
You know, I'm just gonna sidebar you there right there. So you're not gonna have any idea what I'm talking about, but the summer I turned pretty is like the biggest thing right now, and the Cincinnati Bengals actually had a meme kind of alluding to, I always call Joe Burrow Home Alone guy, Macaulay Culkin. They actually had a meme showing Joe Burrow saying he's heading over to Paris to get his girl Belly, and alluding to the fact that he looks like Conrad Fisher. And you have absolutely no thing that I'm talking about. So anyway, continuing on with Joe Burrow actually being on the field, what are your thoughts?
I think I need another pint after listening to that. So get me back to Dublin, because I have no idea
what. That was for Yumi. I mean, I'm not Team Conrad.
God's name that just was. Okay, how about Team Cincinnati? Let's get a little back on track here.
Anyway.
Okay, I will say this. No, they had a brutal start last year, and I think they went 0-3, 0-4. They made a nice comeback. They should avoid that start this year. Defense is still a question, but when you have Burrow, Chase, Higgins is back, Chase Brown, the running back, underrated, they definitely should be in the mix again. Don't forget they're 2 years away. They were in the Super Bowl a few years ago as well. I think you will see them being a factor. Defense will be. One team I may also add, the Denver Broncos, which Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback, much criticized pick. Did they take him too early? He was awesome. Dual threat.
Yeah. Do you think that was a surprise last year? I know that you were kind of keeping a close eye on them, and
I would say this.
Now, do you think they're not necessarily going to fly under the radar because they did better the next year?
Little of both. I thought Nix had a shot, and the fact that Peyton's done well. He's Drew Brees', Did I think it would happen that quickly? No. His athleticism was definitely a factor. His ability to get out of the pocket. I don't think that's going to change. The defense, though, was a stalwart. That's not a fluke at all. So I think if Nix stays on a steady progression, again, defense is going to have a different scouting report on him, try and keep more in the pocket. But I'm leaning towards the fact he is for real. I think Denver will be hurt from this year.
All right. Well, speaking of Knicks, the Jets nixed Aaron Rodgers. He headed over to the Steelers. Greg, what are you thinking about the chances for Aaron Rodgers and Kef's Steelers?
Looks like you're on point early this season. Look at this.
Look at that.
Well, I will say this. I don't want to get into the Russell Wilson thing because he's not now my quarterback, but I do think Aaron Rodgers, for whatever you want to say about him, especially later in the year, if you looked under the hood, the Jets offense was actually playing really well. He was playing well. He got healthier. Do I think it's an upgrade? Yes, I do. I think he's an upgrade over Russell Wilson. Yes. Do I think it's enough to get them over the top? No. I think they'll still rely on defense, but it is an upgrade, not total shite. I think they will be better. I don't necessarily think it's a Super Bowl year, though, either.
All right. Any surprise teams, dark horses that we should be potentially taking a closer look at?
Yeah, so you've heard me on this theme, and I will say that last year was an immense struggle for Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence looked like he took a huge step back, but I remember early in that year watching. They were a disaster. I mean, they couldn't block. They couldn't do a thing right. It's one of the worst. And Peterson, who won a Super Bowl as coach of the Eagles, it's crazy to say he looked lost. They had the least motion in it. I just feel like he didn't evolve. That team was a train wreck. I still think Lawrence, I don't care what anyone tells me, he's way too young, way too talented. I think he's in for a big year. They have Liam Cohen, the new coach, total revamp. Brian Thomas, receiver, an absolute stud. He went under the radar last year. They're bringing in Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy. Going to be a factor on both sides. I actually think Jacksonville could very well be a playoff game, may even contend to win that division. Give me Jacksonville, a huge bounce back.
I think he's still drinking some pints over there.
I wish I was.
I'm going to disagree with that.
No, one of you are.
Let's head over to the NFC. We touched on the Eagles and how difficult it is to repeat. Who else do you think could make their way into the picture? Any chance for Tony's Lions or Mitch's Packers? Showing them some love. What do you think?
Yeah, I think both of those. I'll start with the Packers. I do think now Parsons coming in the year and Jordan Love, there actually are injury concerns. Parsons back, which that never sounds good. But let's assume he's healthy, especially late in the year. They added Speedster Matthew Gold on the outside. The guy is one of the fastest human beings to basically ever live.
Okay.
Parsons will elevate that D. I think if Jordan Love takes that next step, I could easily see them being the NFC representative. I think they're completely on the right track. The Lions are, I want to say, a bit more of a question mark, and here's why. The D will definitely be better. They lost Aiden Hutchinson, their star defensive end last year. Huge loss. The playoff game when they lost to Washington, they literally, it's as many injuries I've seen a team ever have on defense. So it's kind of, you feel bad for them because it wasn't truly representative of the season they had. That being said, I think that defense is a lot better. They can't have as many injuries, just law of logic. 2 new coordinators would be the question, though. How does that, Aaron Glenn, now coach of the Jets, Ben Johnson of the Bears? They're going to be a transition. I still think that offense is loaded enough. Talent may take a little time. I think they will be in the mix. So I don't want to write them off completely either. The Lions still have a ton of talent, especially in offense.
All right. Well, speaking of injuries, another team that was just decimated by injuries last year. I'm talking the Niners. Do you think they have a pretty good chance this year?
No, see what you did there.
Okay. I'm on fire. Let's go.
Let's go. I like it. All right.
NFL season, baby. Let's go.
I think that's absolutely true. I think they were decimated on both sides. Defense, especially as well. They have Christian McCaffrey back. Wide receiver group is still a little banged up. I think Ricky Pearsall, remember that name, young kid, second year. He actually got shot last year. Yeah, it was a freak accident. He had nothing misdoing on his part.
Actually, I think I remember that.
Yeah, he's fully healthy, speedster. I think they're in for a big bounce back. I think Bobby will be watching some playoff games in January at the VFW. Niners in for a big bounce back year.
All right. Anyone else that we should consider keeping an eye on? We talked about the Commanders and their win over the Lions. Do you think they're in the mix, or how about those Rams? Are they a factor again?
Well, I'll start with I was going to say the Skins. They're still the Redskins to me, but the Commanders. Daniels is legit. I don't think there's any thing fluky whatsoever about that. I mean, his last year at LSU, he had played a lot of quarterback. He had played basically 5 seasons coming in the NFL, experience, polished, a ton of talent. I think that's legit. They won a ton of close games last year. Law of average in the NFL, are those many close games wins? Are some of those losses this year? I think you may see a little of that. I still think Daniels is legit and they will be a factor. I'm not sold that they're exactly ready to be in the NFC Championship yet again.
Okay.
But Daniels is the real deal, no doubt. Right. The Rams, I think the Rams are definitely contender, but QB concerns now with injuries. Matthew Stafford has battled back injuries. He's questionable. Looks like he will play Sunday.
There were some trade rumors going on. His wife was clapping back at people on social media. There was a little bit of drama this week.
Good point. I think that was a marriage that needed to stay for both parties. Stafford's getting older, wanted a contract upgrade. I think it was one that will work out well for both. Brought in Devontae Adams. Cooper Kupp is out. They have an excellent young defense. I mean, they shored it up in a big way last year. Stafford will be the question, health or not. If he is, they're right in the mix. NFC's wide open. The Rams could definitely be a factor.
All right. Any dark horses when it comes to the NFC? We talked AFC dark horses. Any potential surprises coming out of the NFC?
Well, just quickly, as I said, the NFC is wide open. The South is good. The Bucs should be solid again. Atlanta with Michael Penix now taking over. That's exciting. But I'm going to take, as a true dark horse, I'm going to take Arizona. I'm going to go out west of the desert.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, another year. He was coming off the knee injury. It's a big difference. Anyone who's had a knee injury, that second year is a big difference. You don't think about it anymore. Marvin Harrison. Some thought it was a disappointment last year. I'm not going to go there. He's still stud tight end, shored up the defense in a huge way. I could see them taking a big step and being a factor this year. Arizona may be I'm going to pick them to make the playoffs this year, actually. Them and Jacksonville.
Right, and let's talk about the likely Super Bowl teams. We're talking the matchup between the Pats and the G-Men. What do we think about that?
Well, you damn well got one of them right, because the G-Men are Super Bowl bound.
Oh, shit.
Well, let me since they're the.
Wait, let's break down our teams.
Start with your Pats here. I would be excited if I'm a Pats fan. Yeah, Mike Vrabel take over as coach. Who well established at Tennessee. He's a Patriots legend. Drake May, he's the whole key. Second year QB, showed a lot of promise last year. He has to limit some of the turnovers he had, but that's to be expected. They added a lot. TreVeyon Henderson, running back, rookie from Ohio State, game breaker. They haven't had that type of explosiveness. They added Stephon Diggs. I think the Pats are definitely upswing. I don't know if you're going to see this year necessarily a playoff berth.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I do think it will be a much improved product and promise for the future. Now, to the real Super Bowl bound Giants.
You mean the recipients of the paper bag, the most recipient?
We've only done 2, and they've won it both years.
Exactly.
It won't be number 3.
Are you sure?
I'm actually serious.
He's gonna go on record.
I am dead serious. I guarantee. Okay, here we go. There is real excitement in the Giants. First of all, D-line, they drafted Abdul Carter, defensive out of Penn State, who you could have made an argument. They wound up with the number 3 pick. He might turn out to be the best player in this draft. He's a stud defensive end. Their D-line, not making comparisons to when we beat Brady and the Pats in the Super Bowl because of the D-line, but their D-line legit has a chance to be top 3-5 in the entire league. That's going to change things. I don't love Russell Wilson. Placeholder for now. Jackson Dart looked great in the preseason. I think we may have a quarterback. I think this team, you may not see it record-wise because the schedule is brutal, but I do think it's a much improved team. Could get to 8-9 wins. Cam Scatterbo, remember him from Arizona State? Stud, going to be a factor. Let's go G-Men. Super Bowl bound.
I'm not cheering for them. I'm cheering them for a three-peat with the paper bag. But because you went on record saying that that's not going to happen, I'm going to ask you, who is your pick for the most paper bag wins this year?
Well, it ain't going to be the Giants because I think it's going to be the New Orleans Saints. Unfortunately, the Saints, they're in a bit of trouble. They're in no man's land at QB, which is a place no one ever wants to be. Spencer Rattler, up and down, super talented kid, had mixed success in college, Oklahoma, South Carolina, never lived up to the billing. Kid has talent. I don't see it. Kamara's getting older. I don't think he's horrible. The D used to be very good. I don't think they have an identity right now. Sure. I think they are definitely the favorite to be the paper bag champion. And I literally am guaranteeing will not be the Giants this year. That's how confident I am.
All right. Well, let's turn to our first picks of the year, starting with the season opener kicking off tonight, where the Eagles are 8.5-point favorites over the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, quick synopsis before you'll make the first pick of the year.
Alrighty.
So for Dallas, I said they traded Micah Parsons.
Yep.
That's a big deal. I will say that he had been injured. They had been pairing the D without him. Now, your D's never better without Micah Parsons, so let me start there. The run defense could be a little better. They are getting Dak Prescott back. I will say what you saw of Dallas the end of last year, I hate Dallas. They're better than that. Dak back will make a difference. They brought in DK Metcalf from the Seahawks. Sorry, not Metcalf. I'm losing my. They brought in Pickens Apparently, I'm on the Pikes there. They brought in George Pickens from the Steelers. Super talented. You never know to go. Bit of a head case. But I think Prescott brings a security to them. The Eagles are the Eagles. I mean, we know what they are. Their offensive line, their QB, running back, receivers. Defense would be a little question because they have had a lot of turnover. A lot of people left. So.
All right. Well, given all of that, I'm going to go Eagles. Cover, win.
I think the Eagles definitely win. This is still week 1 to me. We've talked about this so much. There's so much turnover. The Stars don't play much in the preseason. I think Dallas can score a little bit in this game. That might be crazy here. Eagles win, Dallas covers, but no sweat for the Eagles.
Okay, heading over to Friday night down in Brazil. Kansas City Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites over the LA Chargers.
Well, we'll say Chargers. So Chargers, they are what they are. They want to be physical. They're going to run the ball as much as any team in the league. They brought in Hampton, rookie running back from North Carolina. Big question though, Slater, their tackle, their all-world tackle, bad injury in the preseason. He's out for the year. That will change what they do. We know what the Chiefs are. The Chiefs should be better on the O-line. The receiver core should be a good game though. Chargers play physical. I'll leave you with that.
Casey, cover, win.
I'm going to take the Chargers to cover this game, slow it down, call it the early season jitters of the Chiefs. I could be dead wrong here. I will say the same thing. Chiefs win the game. I think the Chargers make it interesting.
All right. Well, we'll be on the air later this week with the full slate, our full week 1 forecast. But before we say goodbye to you tonight, let's go ahead and give our Super Bowl predictions.
Would you like to start?
I sure would, Greg.
Well.
I'm prepared for this. I'm going to go on record and say the Super Bowl matchup is going to be Buffalo versus Detroit. And I think Buffalo comes out victorious. I'm talking Josh Allen gets his win. He's one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks, combining with his rocket arm and rushing ability. I have full faith in Josh Allen. It's not saying that the Detroit Lions are any bit of a slouch. I mean, Jared Goff, he's surrounded by weapons on all cylinders. We have the running backs. Look at who did her homework.
Wow.
With Montgomery and Gibbs and St. Brown. So I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl, and calling it now.
Bills win?
Bills win.
Wow. Bills win. Shuffle off to Buffalo. Well, chef of the future, what do we have here? We differ.
Of course we do.
So, I know I don't want to say been burnt, but I guess I have a couple times. I've pretty much been baking the Chiefs and Mahomes or Lamar in Baltimore every year. I'm going to go to Baltimore this year. I think Lamar, the narrative of he can't win a big game, I think it's pure bollocks. I think Baltimore, it's their time.
I think he's proving that he can't win the big games. But anyway, history would be on my side. But
okay, I'm making my pick just for the record here.
Fair enough.
Okay. So I think, and it should be highly contested on both sides. I allude to Green Bay. If Jordan Love takes that next step, I think Green Bay will be in that mix. I'm going to take, before the season starts, the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champions, over the Cheeseheads.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out come February, but you know who's going to be the winner there. So anyway,
well, as Mayor Fowler would say, the season's about to start. What do we got? Let's get on in the NFL season. How about it?
All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to end this quick little recap. And again, we'll be back quickly with the full week 1 slate and forecast. So thanks so much for tuning in for this quick hit. And I'll kick it over to Greg.
Well, thank you for Julie. I was on her game. I like she's coming out. She had some preseason work over in the end of the aisle.
Fully rested in the postseason.
Well, anyway.
Season, whatever it was. I rested.
Thanks to Julie. Thanks everyone. We look forward to sharing the season with you again. And as usual, happy football, everyone.
Bye.